In August 2023, we at Invertase ran a campaign named Firebase App Builders. The purpose of the campaign was to introduce the capabilities of Firebase, particularly Firebase Extension, and how they can empower your application. We received many applications, and among them, we chose top 5, and one of those top 5 winners was Rajeev. So Rajiv is today with me to talk about what he has done for this campaign that impressed us and won one of the prizes. Hello, Rajiv. How are you?
Hi, Majid. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So, Rajiv, first thing first, introduce yourself. Tell us who you are and what you do in your daily work.
I am Rajeev Sharma. I am based out of India and I am a developer. Mostly right now, I'm working with web technologies. But in the past, I have worked with mobile apps as well, particularly the Android apps. And in my day to day life, I create applications, try out new things. So that's who I am.
Oh, that's nice, Rajiv. So, Rajiv, how did you find, first of all, about Firebase App Builders, the campaign?
So actually, I was going through my social media feed, and there I saw Invertase tweet about Firebase App Builders, uh, the hackathon, right? So from there, I got to know about it.
How is your experience with Firebase? Are you like, have you been doing any Firebase before, or was it your first time?
I have been doing Firebase before, from I think last 5 6 years. Not like for my personal project, because that's the fastest way to build an app, right? To test it out, you don't need to worry about anything. Everything is available with Firebase. So
Yes. So, how when you came to this campaign, so what was your initial thought of building an app? What did you want to build? Like, what was your initial, idea?
So, to be frank, when I heard about it, I was interested because I have used Firebase in the past, right? But at that time, I was doing something else. I didn't have time, so I was not very sure whether I will be taking part in it. But I think a week before the deadline, I got some time. So I thought, why not try it out? And because the theme was Firebase extension, and extensions are supposed to make your life easier. You need to write less code, right? So I thought maybe 1 week is enough to try it out. So now the point was like what to build. That's the biggest pain, right? Or that's the biggest thing. You can build anything, whatever you want, you can build it if you put enough time into it. But what to build? That's the biggest question. So actually, at that time, I was uh, talking to my son who is in school. So he had his exams, right? And I needed to work with him to prepare him for the exam. Right? So I was going through his textbook and I needed to ask questions. See, at the end of the chapter, there are questions which you can ask, but I wanted to be thorough. So I was reading the chapter and then I was asking questions based on that. So I thought, why not make this
Hmm.
like make it automatic, right? So I just explored Firebase extension, whether something like this is there in Firebase extensions or not. And to my surprise, I got exactly the thing. There were Cloud Vision APIs from Google. So there was an extension for that. And then we had the AI extensions, right? We had Palm API extension as well as ChatGPT API extension. So I thought, let's try it out. So from there, the idea came.
Interesting. This is an example of where technology is helping parents, right? So,
Right.
um, So Rajiv, maybe you should show us what you have built, so people like those who are watching right now, they get an idea of what you have built, and then we talk about the technical part of it. You
Right,
agree?
right, sure. So this is a very simple web app. Uh, right now, it does only two things. You can create quiz based on a prose, or you can take a photo, picture of your uh, any book page or something, and then you can create quizzes based on that, right? So if you log in, there is a login part, and if you log in, there is only one thing right now here. So there is a playground where you can input some text and then try to generate questions, or you can try with an image as well, right? So let's try using an image. So for this, I need to pick one image, which should have some text. Let me show it to you. So this is a snap of a book. Okay. So I will be using this image. Okay. And then, so it is going to take some time because first we need to extract text from the image, and then we need to call the AI APIs to generate questions based on that text.
So technically, you are uploading this image somewhere, probably in Firebase storage,
Yes.
and then you're using extension to extract the text out of the image,
Ve-
and then you pass the text to the AI extension using Palm API, for example, from
Right.
Google
Right.
to generate questions.
Correct. So see,
Okay.
so using that text, we could generate some questions. You can see it here. So it generates the questions, it gives us choices, and it also tells us what is the correct answer, right? So all of this without writing any backend code. There is no backend code involved here. And if we want, we can publish this thing as a quiz. Okay, so it will give us a URL which we can now with the quiz. So you can take this quiz if you want, and then finally you can check the answers, right? So it will tell you whether you give correct answer or a wrong answer. So this is the whole app.
That's Yeah, that's nice. So shall we go through like your implementation? Let's see what you have done here. So can you tell us about the technology that you used for the front end maybe, and also which extensions particularly you have used? Maybe you can also show us your Firebase console if you don't mind, and tell us like which extension you have used.
Right. So I will start with the Firebase extensions itself, right?
Sure.
So these are the extensions. There is this extract image text with Cloud Vision AI, right? So this is a Google extension. This extracts the text from images, and then we have like I tried both the AIs. I tried the Palm API as well as the ChatGPT. At the time of making this app, I found that ChatGPT was performing better. Okay,
Okay.
Even Palm API was working fine, but I needed the data in a particular format, right? It should be in particular format because I cannot parse the text if it is in, let's say, JSON format. If it is in JSON format, I can make a quiz easily, right? So ChatGPT was performing better at that time. So, but I tried both the extension, right? So this is the Cloud Vision AI. If you want to see, this is the extension. So what it does, you can select where you want to host your function because this will be using a cloud function behind the scenes, right? So where you want to host the extension, and then it will also be using the Firestore because the extracted data will be written to Firestore. whatever text you extract from the image, it will be written to Firestore. So you tell the collection name, and you and then for images, as Majid mentioned, we need to upload it somewhere. So we are using Firebase storage for storing the images, right? So we need to tell the path where our images are getting stored. So as soon as we store any image, as soon as we upload any image to Firebase storage, this function, it will be creating a function which will be invoked automatically. So it is listening for storage change event, right? And then it will call the Cloud Vision API and extract text from the image, and it will write it to this Firestore collection, right?
Okay, so these extension technically are leveraging the events, architecture in Firebase, right? So you upload, then it triggers, something is uploaded, then they pick that new upload and then send it over to some API to extract the text, and then they return back to Firestore, let's say in this
Right,
case.
right. So
All
I
right.
did not need to write any code for this. You could have done it yourself. You could have written the code yourself. But here, everything is happening automatically, right?
Mhm.
And let's go back. And for this thing, so now that the text is extracted, we need to give it to any of the AI APIs, ChatGPT or Palm API, right? So here again, it will be creating some functions behind the scene, right? Uh, so we tell what is the collection path where, again, it will be listening for any change in that collection path. So as soon as you add some content there, a function will be invoked, right? Cloud function will be invoked, and it will get the text from Firestore, give it to the AI API, and then give us the output. How it will give us the output? Again, it will write it back to the same collection. Wherever your content is, it will write it to same extension. And you can configure some parameters for the AI API, which model you want to use, what is your temperature and all that, right? So these are the settings for the cloud APIs, the AI API, right? So we configure it here. Like this is the collection where we are listening for the text event. Like as soon as we add a text here to this collection, it will write its response in the response field. That is what we configured. You can change it to anything else, right? So this is how it works. Same thing if you want to look at the Palm API, the same thing. Similar things are there. We tell there is one difference between Palm API and Palm API extension and ChatGPT API extension. In ChatGPT, there is no pre-configured prompt. We need to pass the prompt from the client side itself, right? But for Palm API, we write that prompt here itself. So here, as you can see, I have written the prompt here. And then based on that, we configure the same thing. What is the collection name where we want to write back? And same here, we are setting the temperature of the AI and which model we want to use, all of that. So both are similar, just that a little bit of difference is there.
Maybe quickly, if you can go to your Firestore, so then we can also show the fields, I guess the collections and also the documents, because it will give a better indication how it works, right? So
Right.
you mentioned about a collection of, this is the extracted text, probably getting from Vision API, right? So you get the
Correct.
text into, okay. So then you go to the another collection, which is
Request. Right. So
request.
this is where we set the text. Okay. Whatever we got from here, we put it here in the request
Okay.
collection, right? And based on that, then it is here. So this is the prompt. This
There you go.
request, this request collection is for ChatGPT API. So here, this is the prompt field. Here, I am writing the prompt here itself. This is the difference from the Palm API where the prompt is already there in the extension. Here, I need to write the prompt as well as I need to give the complete text of,
You're right.
and then we get the response here. So this is the response
Sounds
field, right? So we
yeah,
get,
sounds
this is a JSON formatted response, which we are getting from the
so then
API.
technically in your front end app, you're just listening to these collections and documents, let's say, and once they are receiving something in the response field, then you just parse them and show them, let's say.
Exactly.
All right, all right. That sounds good.
And then we
Maybe
have,
you, yeah,
and
and then the quiz. Yeah, go ahead.
so this is the final thing. Once we have got the questions, JSON formatted response from the API, then we create a quiz based on that, right? So we create a collection for quiz. We could have used the request collection itself, but to separate it out, so we have quizzes. So there we have formatted it properly. So this is the quiz collection.
But this part, how did you do this part? So is it already again by extensions or something in front end, or
And
how do you manage to create this document for quiz?
so I'm just in the front end, I'm just listening for the response feed here, which we saw, right?
I see.
And
Yeah.
then that response field, I am writing, I am parsing, I am extracting whatever I need from there, and I am just writing to the quizzes collection
Okay.
from the
Sounds
front end
sounds
itself.
interesting. Okay. So then, as you said, there is no backend, no extra code has been written, right? So it's
Ye-
just particularly extensions and your front end code.
Exactly.
Okay, sounds good. Maybe you should also show us a bit of your implementation code, what you have done over there, maybe the technologies, I don't know, packages, whatever you've used.
Right. So for building this app, I used Next.js, right?
Hmm.
Which is a framework for Vue, right? So I
Yes.
am using Next.js, and so and we have Firebase, right? So
Yes.
so the if we want to see the packages, these are the dependencies. We have Firebase admin. We are not using it, but it is required because I am using another extension, Next View Fire, which requires it. Okay,
I
so
see.
this is a module for Firebase to use with Next, right? So we are using these two to make use of Firebase in Next.
So technically, Vue.fire is just a wrapper around Firebase SDK for Vue.js, right?
Correct.
Okay, sounds good. So then you're connecting to your Firebase, and the rest is just magic by extensions, let's say, and the configuration that you showed us, right?
Right. Right.
I see.
So since we have login here, I'm using Firebase authentication. So if we have a user, then we take the user to the page which I showed, right? User is logged in, so we take them to the playground where they can create quizzes.
I see.
And see, in the server code, there is nothing. There is no server code.
And as far as I remember, you're also hosting this application on Firebase hosting, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly. I'm
you're,
hosting this on
yeah.
Firebase.
I mean, sounds good. So then you technically helped yourself as a parent to create an interesting app to simplify your life when it comes to creating quiz for your son, and that's interesting that you could do it very fast, right? And also with not much coding involved in the backend side, whether it's just a front end, a UI, and then the rest is handled on Firebase.
Correct.
So, do you have any plan to maybe work more on this application? Maybe make it more public, or I don't know, some kind of application later that can be used by other parents?
Yes, I definitely have plans to make it work. I am just exploring. I was just going through the Open AI Dev Day, which happened just today or yesterday, right? And there I see a lot of promise for this kind of application because now they have added so many other things, right? So that is going to make our jobs easier. So now they have 128K context window, right? So 128K tokens we can use. That is huge. Right
Yeah.
now, this application is limited. We can upload only one image, and then I have also restricted the length of the text which you can enter because we are limited by the token window, right? The token length. But now they have 128K context. Like we can use 128K tokens in one API call. So I see a lot of promise for like making it work for bigger tasks.
Hmm.
So I have
Sounds
definitely
good.
have plans.
Sounds good. So I am personally looking forward to see what you will do with this application. Maybe later come back to us again and show us what you've done and
Yeah.
share with our community what you have built. This is amazing. Thank you very much, Rajiv. But two more questions. First, is this application open source? Can people find it on GitHub or somewhere to take a look at the code or maybe the architecture a bit?
Yes, definitely. This application is open source. We can find it here. Let me see. I but this doesn't change. Yes, it's open source, right? Uh, it's public. So you can just go to my GitHub profile and look for revise. And the complete source code is here, open source.
Sounds good. I will make sure that the link of this source code is added to our description of this video. That would be easier for people to just click and take a look at the source code. Thank you very much. And the second question and the last one is how people can find you if they want to ask you a question or maybe even send a PR or whatever to help you on this project.
So, yes, great question. Uh, I have added my detail in the footer here, right? So this is my Twitter handle, X handle. Now Twitter is no longer there, X handle. And then you can email me also. So both the links are there, right? So that is how they can reach out to me.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Rajiv, again for coming to our show and shared what you have done with your application and the campaign that we ran in August 2023. And do you have any last words that you want to share with us?
So my feeling is that Firebase extensions is unexplored. Like people are not aware about what Firebase extensions can do. And we can create our own extensions as well. It is not only that some existing set of extensions are there and we are limited by that. We can create our own extension and make use of it in our other project, right? So if we are looking for low code or no code for both the situations, Firebase extensions are a very good, right? And and everyone knows that Firebase is the quickest way to create any application. It gives us so many tools and so much hand holding that it becomes easier, right? So don't sleep on Firebase. That's what I want to say.
Thank you very much, Rajiv. And I wish you the best and looking forward for the next iteration of this application. See you next
Definitely.
time. Thank you everyone for watching.
Thank you. Thank you.